Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for David Speed.
Hi, my name's David and I'm a vandal. Actually, scratch that. So I need to give you guys a little disclaimer. Everything that you're about to hear in the next 15 minutes, for legal reasons, is completely made up. So, and all of the photos are photoshopped, and I have never committed any crimes. I don't know why Emily was talking about. So why risk prison, fines, and all of this sort of stuff? Some of you guys might be familiar with Shepard Fairey. He has been arrested over 30 times, and that has led to him, he created the Obama Hope campaign. And so really for him, being arrested is just one of the things that happens. It's just a risk of the job. And I, the same way as he does, I care more about my message. I care more about what I'm doing than the potential repercussions that might come from it. I don't know if this will stand up in court, but I try to do ethical vandalism. Now, what might be ethical vandalism? Don't worry, I'm not going to come and paint on the front of your house this evening. I'm not going to damage your car. I look for unloved spots and then try and make them a little bit more beautiful. So you can see these are temporary hoardings that are going to disappear. They are tagged buildings. They're places that are messy. So I'm always trying to create something positive. I'm not trying to destroy, even though I am destroying while I'm creating. It's the weird sort of dichotomy of what I do. And so I don't really want to upset anyone. I'm trying to make work with love. You might be wondering, who are these people that I paint? They are you. They are anyone who chooses to submit an image to my web. There's a form on my website where you can upload a photo of yourself. This is a project that I called Be Neon. I realized quickly when I was getting into street art that if I was to paint Marilyn Monroe or Prince or a famous icon, I'd do really well on social media. My career would take off really quickly because people love to look at these images. But I just don't really care about celebrating people that have already been really celebrated. I care about normal people who are doing amazing things, people who have stories that perhaps we don't know about. I think it's really important that we see each other. And I'm from London, which is a city which is very much head down and get to where you're going. We don't notice each other. And we're surrounded by people, but it's a very lonely place. And so I try and draw attention to anyone who wants to be part of this project. And so that means I have painted people of all ethnicities, all genders, all ages, which has been a really beautiful thing. Apart from older women, they won't send photos in. So if you are of that demographic, please send me some photos, because old geezers, they send me so many photos. I've got so many selfies of Keith, but I've got no selfies of his wife. So if you want to send some in, because that's really, I look through my portfolio and I'm like, where are all the women? But so I've gained great joy from doing this. And one thing I've noticed, this should be a GIF, but isn't. But just imagine that billboard above where I'm painting there. Is there a way for me to make the GIF? Or no? The GIF's not GIFing. No, okay. So imagine that billboard is flashing. So as I was painting a big neon cat, because I think it's quite beautiful to paint bizarre things that just shake people out of their normal day if they're going to work and they see something a bit bizarre like a giant neon pink cat. Also, I can paint animals really quickly, so I can get away from where I'm committing crimes very fast. So they kind of double up on that. But as I was painting this cat, I was looking back at the time-lapse video that I'd taken, and that billboard is like this, and is just flashing all of these advertisements at us. And none of us consented to be advertised to 24/7 and be bombarded with it. But we do have very specific rules about where you can and can't make art. So I've just decided that if I find a big blank billboard, I'm going to decorate it with something a bit more beautiful. This is my recent obsession. I learned recently that Roman statues and Greek statues actually weren't all plain white. And color is being pushed out of our cities. Everything is grey or black or white, and we're really losing color. And there's been studies that show this, looking at items for the last 200 years and realizing that we are drastically losing colors. The most popular paint colors are grey. If you want a blue car, then you have to pay more for it. We're really losing color. And as I looked into the history of this, I realized that at some point, white, wealthy, culture makers decided that whiteness was special, pure. And I found this quote, and I didn't write it down because I'm unprofessional, but someone said that color should be associated with women who cannot control their emotions. They are crazy beings. Children who, again, can't control and savage nations. This was written, I think, 200 years ago. I'm going to find that quote and I'll send it to whoever I need to send it to, so you can properly see where I got that quote from. But just so when they were digging up Roman statues and saw that there were all these colors on them, it was better, rather than restoring the color, to strip the paint off and just have these plain white statues, because white is perfect and beautiful. So I thought, what a beautiful protest. So I've started painting Roman statues, but making them bright neon pink as kind of a rebellion and bring back color, because I think color is important. I had not planned to talk about that, so I'm probably going to go over time now. So I've learned a lot of things during my career as a vandal. There's supposed to be titles on these, which are not coming up. I'm not very good at PowerPoint, which is something that might be coming across. That's supposed to say natural talents. Of which... So natural talent is one of the things that I've learned doesn't exist. And if you want to fight me on that, I'll be here afterwards and we can scrap it out. Because, so say there is natural talent, okay? There isn't, but let's just say that there's some people are born with this magical gift of they can they can play music out of the womb, okay? Which just doesn't happen, but okay, let's say it does. I am living proof that if you like a thing and you do it a bunch, then you become good at it, which no one told me at school. I was not put into the gifted group, so I grew up thinking that I was not gifted. And so we have to go past this slide very quickly, because this is my first piece of graffiti. And so... No. This is bad. This is very bad. And there is not anyone in this room, I always hear, I can't draw a stick man. There is not anyone in this room who, if they had to try and copy that onto a wall, could not manage something similar, okay? When I talk to kids, I show them my early work first, because if I show them what I'm doing now, they don't see that they could ever get to it. Whereas if I show them this and they go, well, yeah, I could do that because it's pretty crap, then they realize, oh, so you used to do stuff that was really crap and then you did it a bunch and then you got better at it, which I fundamentally believe. So that has been one of the most huge lessons that I've learned through painting. I have learned that it's important. Oh, the tiles are back. I have learned that it is important to stand out. So I discovered the neon pink pigment a few years ago, and I just became utterly obsessed with it. And then I wondered, why is no one using this? Because it is so bright and so beautiful. But then I got scared. And I think in order to stand out, you have to be really courageous. Because no one was using neon pink, I was really scared about using it. And I just thought, I'm coming from the graffiti and street art scene, which is very macho and bullshit, and that's just not me. So I was really scared. And then one of my heroes, David Cho, I don't know if you know the artist David Cho, he famously painted the Facebook offices before they opened, and was paid in stock, so is now a multi-millionaire. But he's one of my favorite artists, and heartbreakingly, I saw this video, this interview with him.
What was the first thing you painted, like, on the wall? Was that like a big moment?
It was a big moment. And it was even a big moment what color to use. Because, you know, if you do something in pink or something, it's light. But the second you make black, then it's more aggressive and it's more of a statement.
He even calls out pink. And I saw this and I was like, I love you, David Cho, but I just don't agree. I think that we can protest with love. I think that we can fight with kindness. And I think that using colour is an act of rebellion. And I think it's really important. And I didn't want to be hard and aggressive and painting in black. And street art is obviously the language of rebellion. I thought there's a kinder way of doing this. And that's what I try to embody with my work. Another thing I've learned is that you must plant flags. And flags are anything. Street art is such a great example of planting a flag because it's essentially a billboard for as long as it exists out in the street, anyone walking past. It's a chance for them to discover you. Any post you make on social media is a flag. Any conversation that you guys have amongst each other this evening is a flag. This talk right now is a flag. Because what will happen is some of you guys will follow me on Instagram, at DavidSpeedUK, by the way, and then some of you guys will realize this guy keeps talking about his mailing list on his story, and then eventually you'll get an email from me and you'll buy a print, and that month I'll be able to pay my rent, because that's just how it works. And the more flags that you plant, the more opportunities that come to you. And I painted over 100 pieces across Shoreditch during the pandemic because kindly they boarded up all the shops for me, and so these just became my canvases, and so you couldn't walk around anywhere in East London without seeing my work, and that was my opportunity to plant several flags. These are just some of the flags that I posted, and that one there is in Galway, the one with the pink background. I was doing a job over there, but then I saw this beautiful wall in the street, so I got up at 5 a.m. and put my high-vis vest on, and then I went and painted. And so yeah, I've been lucky to make tons of work, and the pandemic was a massive thing. And through all of these flags that I've planted, I've been given opportunities. And one opportunity that I was given is this is the Nobu restaurant in Shoreditch, and I've met Nobu-san twice now. A fantastic guy. He's in his 70s. He travels the world. He's in a different country every day. It's insane. And when we were discussing what I would paint in Nobu, I had a meeting with their staff that put it together. And a young lady named Natasha introduced herself to me, and she said, "Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm just here to facilitate. I'm not very creative." And I said, "Natasha, every single person is creative." And I got very cross with her, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she didn't really know what I heard. And so we're sitting around talking about like what I would paint for them. And I said, "Well, I do love painting hands because I think there's a beautiful language that you can tell, and there's emotion." And Natasha, who's not very creative, remember, she said, "Well, there's 6 steps to creating nigiri sushi." And so I photographed Nobu-san's hands, and these are the 6 steps that he goes through every single time that he makes these sushi that he's become world famous for. And so if there is anyone in this room who thinks that they're not very creative, you might not be artistic, that's fine, but every single person is creative. Creativity is your human right. And I think we've been taught that creativity is really scarce. Creativity is actually really abundant. And it doesn't have to be good. Like, it's fine to have a sketchbook that no one sees. It's fine to stack stones together on the beach and not live stream the whole experience. It's fine to have something just for yourself. You don't have to turn this into a job. I think there's 3 things that have really suppressed creativity for us, and we've all gone through it because we've gone through Western culture. We've been told to stop playing, and I think really what I do is a form of play. I give a lot of work away. I hide work in the street that people can go and find, and it's essentially a treasure hunt. It's hide and seek. It is play. But we're told to stop doing that. We're told that there is a right answer, which gives us perfectionism, which is the second thing. We're told that it always has to be the correct answer. But with art and creativity, there is no one right answer. You can do whatever you want, and you can make up the rules. That's the beautiful thing about it. And this is where me and Jeremiah might have a fight, is that The third thing that really does, because I agree with 3 of your C's, but the third thing that does confuse your creativity is when the commerce gets involved. And that's when things can become really, really difficult for you. So, and I think because of those 3 factors, they all affect us, because subliminally we've been told, as we've gone through the school system and art and creativity have gradually been made to seem less and less important, we've been told essentially that it's not. And I really, truly believe that it is. I know I'm out of time, so I'm really trying to hurry up. So we won't talk about Simon Squibb. Okay. So has anyone seen this guy, Simon Squibb? So he has 4 million followers on TikTok, and he essentially walks up to people in the street and says, "Do you have a dream?" And goes like that. And it's such a beautiful, like, no matter what they say, like, pretty much every person that he talks to does have a dream, but 99% of them do not act on it. And I just think that I didn't for a very, very long time. I've spoken about I was scared to paint in pink, and because I was scared, I didn't do it for a really long time. This is my friend Poppy, and Poppy makes paper cuts, really intricate, beautiful paper cuts. That's an example of her work there. And she makes a lot of work about grief and losing people after the death of her father. Last year, Poppy was diagnosed with a really rare form of leukemia. It was so rare, in fact, that the NHS would not cover it. So she started a GoFundMe which I donated to, and I think her target was 17k, and she raised 50k because she's an amazing person, and we turn up for the good ones. And so I thought that would, like, she's raised the money, she's going to get the treatment. 3 months later, Poppy was dead. Was not expecting that, sorry. And I probably can't talk about her too much because this is going to happen. She was incredible. She died when she was 36, and I didn't start painting in pink until I was 37. So if our fates had been swapped, I wouldn't be stood here now. You never would have heard of me because I only became sort of well-known once I started painting in pink. She was a ray of light, and I'm so grateful that I have this body of work that she created while she was here to look back on. And so for me, I mean, I'm really bringing her down, and now you're going to be like, let's get the other speakers back up so we can have a laugh. Who invited this guy? But it is important to remember, like, we haven't got forever, okay? So you will have noticed the skull motif has been in a few of my paintings. It is something that I really enjoy for a really positive reason. I love memento mori paintings. I love reminding ourselves that we are here for a very limited time. So if you've got a dream, if there's something that you want to do, what are you waiting for? Honestly, what are you waiting for? I think regret is the most poisonous thing that we have. I'm not a speaker. This is a very new thing for me. So I've been Googling how to do it well. I'm trying. I've been Googling how to do it well, and they said what you need to do is have one thing, and that one thing is what you want your audience to take home. So my one thing is make. And it's just one word, so it's easy for you to remember. That's what I want you to take home, is make, because I think make is the most important word that we have. I think that everything that we've built is based off of the things that other people have built. At some point in your life, you might hear a call, and it will be really soft at first. And in fact, could you guys all close your eyes for a second? This is not what the call will sound like. You are destined to be an artist. Here's how to succeed on social media. You can open your eyes again. Like, your calling is not going to give you a clear roadmap of how to get it. It's just something that keeps gnawing away in the back of your mind. It's something that maybe you've suppressed. It's something that you perhaps enjoyed when you were a kid. And that's the thing that I want you to focus on. You are going to die, but art and ideas can live forever, and that's really exciting. So.